Hi, I'm Kelly with High on Life Hypnosis. And today I'm here to talk to you about what hypnosis is and what hypnosis is not. There's a lot of terms thrown around about what hypnosis is. Perhaps you've heard of the conscious mind or the unconscious mind. And what does all this stuff mean? Well, today I'm going to break down some very important things about hypnosis in a very easy to understand manner. The first thing that you need to know is how your mind works. So we're going to quickly go over how your mind takes in information, how your mind interprets information, and also how your mind stores information. So let's get right into things. The first thing is your conscious mind, which is like this circle here. It's the surface level of thought. It's like your normal waking state of being. That's normal walking around, going to work, doing things on a regular everyday basis. It's how you just think and perceive the world around you. Now, there's a deeper layer called the subconscious or unconscious part of your mind. So the subconscious mind is where all of the information you've ever learned is stored, and it dictates deep behaviors. It also holds on to your morals and other social programming or programming that you've had throughout your whole entire life. Let's get into what the conscious mind does, because there are many different parts of the conscious mind. The first part is the analytical part of your mind. This is the part that analyzes problems and then comes up with logical solutions. For example, let's say you're driving down the road and then suddenly you hear psst, thup, 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 thup. The analytical part of your mind is going to say, what was that? What's this sound? And as most of you can determine, that sound is getting a flat tire. So then your analytical part of your mind's like, well, what do we do? Pull over. Get out and analyze the situation. Oh, I have a flat tire. Now I need to change the tire or call AAA or call a friend. So that's what the analytical part of your mind does. It likes to analyze problems and solve them logically. The next part of your mind that I'd like to talk to you about is willpower. Now, a lot of people use willpower to try to make changes in their lives. What they don't understand is willpower was never designed to create behavioral changes. Willpower takes a lot of energy. Now, it's a lot like mental adrenaline. Think about this scenario. It's a lot like this. You're walking out to your car from the mall, and it's late at night. It's pitch black dark. The street lights aren't even on, and your car's all the way at the other end of the parking lot. So you have to walk through that dark, non-lit area. And, especially for women, you'll start to feel this sense of unease, that adrenaline kicking up inside, that fight or flight feeling. And then you finally get to your car, you get in, whoosh, and all of that energy, all that adrenaline just disappears. Well, that's a lot like how willpower is. You put all this energy into stuff, but it can't maintain it forever, and it just dissipates. This happens a lot with people whenever they start a diet program or an exercise program, or even really trying to quit smoking. And as soon as that energy level is depleted, the deeper programming starts to come out. Now let's talk about the next part of your mind. This is the rationalizing part of your mind. This part must come up with a reason for why you do the things you do. It absolutely has to, because if you don't have a reason why you do the things you do, then you can start having frustration, anger, and just in general, just not having good mental health. So that's its job. And the thing is, most everything that this rationalizing part of your mind comes up with is absolutely untrue. But it sounds really, really good. Let's take, for example, people who smoke cigarettes. So the rationalizing part of their mind says, oh, well, I smoke to calm down. Smoking calms me down. And that's enough to justify the behavior of smoking. But everybody who's studied smoking or understands anything about the science behind, nicotine and what it does in the body, knows that nicotine actually excites the nervous system. So there's no way that physically it can actually relax you. The only reason that people have that relaxation is that they're actually having some withdrawal from having a cigarette previously. So once they have that withdrawal craving, it spikes in, frustration and desire to have another one. Then they have a cigarette, and it relaxes them that way. But there's no real physical cause for the cigarettes to relax somebody. So that's what happens in the rationalizing part of your mind. So the next part of the conscious mind that I'd like to talk to you about is temporary memory. Now, temporary memory is like the working memory of the mind. It's what you need right now. And it's a lot like the RAM of a computer. It just holds the working space of the memory that's needed in that moment. For example, when I was a little kid, I lived at home and I played around the house and I can remember all these memories, right? But if you were to ask me what my telephone number was at the time, I can't remember because I only needed that piece of information then. So I don't know it anymore. That's how temporary memory works. Now in the subconscious, there's a part of your brain that's formed very early on, and it's one of the most important parts of your brain, and it's called permanent memory. So permanent memory stores everything that you've ever seen, heard, felt, tasted, smelled, experienced, learned in your whole entire life. It's a lot like video recording, but adding in the two other senses of, taste and smell. And what's really cool about permanent memory is sometimes we can't really access everything that's in there. But with hypnosis, we can really get into the permanent memory to bring out resources that you need to make the changes in your life. And we can also bring forward things that you might need to work on that are running these automatic programs inside that are holding you back from being the person that you need to be. So permanent memory is fantastic, and it's a function of the subconscious or unconscious mind. Now, another area of the subconscious mind is emotion. Now, emotion comes from deep within, and it kind of just comes up when it's needed. It's a lot like a shutter on a camera opening up, and the emotion comes up, and maybe it's like a release, and maybe you need to have this emotion come up, but once it's done, it just goes back down, and then that shutter closes, and you're at your normal kind of everyday emotional kind of normal. And that's what emotion does, but it comes from the subconscious mind or deep within. Now, the next part of your subconscious mind would be habits. Now, there are a few different types of habits. Of course, there's, really good habits, and then there's bad habits. And then there's utilitarian habits, which are basically habits that form out of associations. So one example would be, and of course this isn't as common anymore, but back in the day when the phone would ring, people would hear the phone and then go answer the phone. And, now that we have caller ID and our cell phones, now it's like the phone rings, we look at the phone and we see if we know the number, and then we either answer it or we wait for it to go to voicemail and see who it was, right? So a more modern kind of utilitarian habit might be like, hey, I get bored, that I'm instantly on my phone, opening up Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, something like that, and just scrolling through. And you don't even consciously realize it until you've already scrolled a little ways and you're like, whoa, I opened up my phone. I was just sitting here and I've already opened up my phone and I've been scrolling for a couple minutes. And it's almost like it happens automatically. So that's the habits. That's the different habits that come from the subconscious or unconscious mind. Now, the next part I would like to talk to you about is the protective part of your subconscious mind. Now, this can be the part that it's as simple as, if you were to tap something hot, like a hot stove just touching, or a hot pan, and you'd pull your hand away, or like a bug flying towards your eyes and you just blink instinctively. And the protective part can also be more generalized and a lot less obvious. Some situations that I've personally seen would be, for example, someone who, as a little kid, say like 3 years old, gets barked at by a dog really close to their face, and then their subconscious mind says, wow, that's dangerous. I'm going to start giving you this feeling of anxiety around dogs so that you don't get hurt, right? Then I'll see them as an adult and they have this extreme irrational fear of all dogs that they see. And another interesting thing that can happen with people is sometimes that event, like a dog barking at the little kid, doesn't actually manifest as a fear of dogs. Sometimes it comes out as a fear of like being afraid of heights or afraid of bridges, something like that. So it's really quite interesting how the mind kind of generalizes this protective behavior to help someone stay safe. That's the higher purpose of that that behavior that we all have inside, that protective part of ourselves. But there is one huge flaw that the subconscious mind has, and that is that it's really lazy. That's right. Believe it or not, your subconscious mind is lazy. It likes running automatic programs that are very easy to put out there and to put into motion. So your subconscious mind is really not so good at taking in positive suggestions. Someone tells you, hey, if you eat this diet and you exercise, you're going to look great, and all this information is coming, but say you're laying on the couch when you hear it and you're having a beer and you're sitting back and chilling, your subconscious mind's going to go, yeah, that sounds all well and good, but I'm just sitting back and relaxing, so I'm not going to do that. I'm doing this. This is great. This is easy. But you see, the subconscious mind is really good at taking in negative suggestions, because think about it. Then someone says, oh, wow, you've got a lot of weight to take off. That's going to take forever, It's going to be so hard. You might as well not even try. Why even try? Just don't even try. Well, the subconscious mind is like, well, that suggestion sounds easy. I don't have to do anything. I really don't have to do anything. I'll take that one. Yeah, I can't do it. Yeah, now I don't have to do anything. So that's how the subconscious mind kind of works. Well, how do we get the positive suggestions to get deep inside the subconscious mind so that they then can plant their seeds and then grow and blossom into the behaviors and attributes that you want to have in your lives? Well, there's this part of your mind that's part of the conscious mind called the critical factor. And this part is really interesting. You see, when a suggestion is kind of coming into the critical factor, it will temporarily block that suggestion and evaluate it. And it'll say, all right, here comes the suggestion: diet and exercise. Okay, these are good suggestions. I like these. I'm going to send them over to the subconscious. So then it goes and it says, all right, subconscious, what do you think about these? And of course, if you're sitting back, relaxed, and drinking a beer, the subconscious is saying, hey, I'm just chilling out. I don't want to do this right now. Hey, send that on up to willpower, Send it up to willpower. So that's what it does. A critical factor shoots it on up to the willpower section, and we all know that willpower takes a lot of energy. So how do we just bypass this whole critical factor, We actually use hypnosis to bypass the critical factor, and that's one of the definitions of hypnosis, to bypass the critical factor of the mind. That way the positive suggestions can go right in and get planted into the subconscious mind. So basically, when we do hypnosis, it looks a little bit like this inside of your mind. We bypass the critical factor and create a little bit of a gateway, a pathway for us to then let the suggestions flow in, which would look a lot like this. So you have all these positive suggestions, and they just flow in and get planted in the subconscious mind. Now, so there's really 4 different mental attitudes to take when it comes to receiving suggestions. And only one will work. The one mental attitude that works is when you think, I like this suggestion and it's going to work for me. I like this suggestion and it's going to work for me. That one will work every time. Those suggestions will just go right in, get planted in the subconscious mind as little seeds, and then they just start to grow and spread and blossom. And these behaviors or attitudes or attributes that you want in your life, all these changes that you need to have in your life, they just start to express themselves. And sometimes it can be almost automatic how these behaviors just come out. With that said, there are 3 other mindsets that change won't happen. The first mindset that stops change would be if a suggestion is uncomfortable, because your critical factor will kick up and say, I don't know about that one. That critical factor is still like a guardian at the gate sitting there. I don't know about that one. And your subconscious mind will say, yeah, I don't know about that one either. And if it feels a little uncomfortable, it'll just throw it out. It won't take that suggestion. If you're neutral about a suggestion, then it won't take that one either. Like if a suggestion comes in and you're like, yeah, that's a pretty good suggestion. I could take it or leave it. Then that suggestion will not work. But you know what? Most people fall in this last category where suggestions just don't work. They really want the change too. It's really ironic with these people, but this is the mindset that these people have. When a suggestion is coming in, they say, "Oh, I like it. I like it. I like that suggestion. I hope it works. I like that suggestion. I hope it works." That word hope is just a word that just is implying that it's not going to happen, There's 2 words in the English language that really just should just be removed, really, because it's hope and try. These 2 words kind of mean similar things. Think about the last time that you really wanted to get something done and you said, you know what? I'm going to really try to do this today. I'm really going to try to get this done. And there you go. You try, and I guarantee it was a struggle to get whatever it was done, or maybe it never got done. Now, I want you to think of a time where you said, you know what? Today, I'm doing this. I'm getting this done. I'm going to do this. Heck yeah, I bet you got it done and you were driven to do so. I got this. So, the main thing that you need to have as a mindset for when you're receiving suggestions would be, I like this suggestion. It's going to work for me. Now, there's a lot of myths and mysticism out there about hypnosis, and now I just want to demystify some things. A lot of people think that hypnosis is mind control. It couldn't be further from the truth. We've got a lot of built-in safety mechanisms in our mind. As you can see, there's just a lot going on inside of our mind. So if I were to try to give you a suggestion that doesn't gel with who you are or is against your morals, you'll just kick it out immediately. We've got all the safety mechanisms installed right inside of our minds. In fact, I do tell people that it is mind control, but that it's about you learning how to control your mind. That's what happens during hypnosis. It really empowers you to take control of your own mind. Now, the second thing is a lot of people will say, well, what about all those people from stage shows, that just do anything that people tell them? Well, the thing about people during stage shows is that they're a particular type of person, These are people with latent exhibitionist tendencies. Like people who really want to let themselves go and be out there, but maybe they're can't normally do it every day. And when they go into this hypnotic state of mind, they're like, yes, I can let this side of myself out. And afterwards, they always have plausible deniability, right? Hey, I was hypnotized, so that's not me. That I was just hypnotized, which is fine, and that's what the stage hypnotist is looking for. And even when I'm doing street hypnosis, that's who I'm looking for too. Plus they get to have a lot of fun. It's really fantastic. But no, that's not what you're coming in to see me for, and I'm not going to make you do anything wild, stuff like that. And I can't make you do anything that you don't want to do anyways, so that let's just get that off the table. The next thing is sleep. A lot of people think that hypnosis is sleep. So they've seen a stage show, the hypnotist might yell sleep, and then people all, collapse down into a hypnotic state. Well, those people aren't sleeping, they're hypnotized. They can hear every word the hypnotist say. They pay very, very close attention to the hypnotist. They're extremely focused on what the hypnotist is saying. So they are definitely not asleep. Now, the next thing that I've heard a few people say is, am I going to tell you secrets why I'm hypnotized? And I say, no, I personally, you're not going to tell me any secrets, and I don't want to know. I really don't want to know your secrets. Please keep them to yourselves. I only ask for the information absolutely necessary to help you make the changes that you deserve to have in your life. Now, just to clean up a few little things about hypnosis, what does it feel like? I'm sitting in a chair right now. Some people might sit in the chair and their bodies feel a little heavier, or they feel a little bit lighter, like they're floating on a cloud. And some people have this really profound feeling that they're just sitting in a chair, and I'm not sure exactly what you'll feel when you're sitting in the chair. Everyone kind of experiences hypnosis a little bit differently. But definitely people feel different sensations during hypnosis. Some people visualize more. Some people are able to really tune in and hear things better. Really connect with senses that they aren't normally so connected with. Now, just to clean up a couple things, I didn't put everything on the slide that I was showing you. There is an even deeper part of the unconscious or subconscious mind, but it just controls your body function. Digesting your food, controls your heart beating, your breathing. It just regulates your normal body functions. This can also include your immune system. So people who want to use hypnosis to enhance your immune system or other various forms of your health need to go into a really deep state of hypnosis to start putting those suggestions in there to really have that improvement in their health. Because that's a very deep level of our unconscious mind, and rightfully so, because that's the part of our mind that keeps us alive. That we don't need to be messing with that on a regular day-to-day basis. Think if people could just control their heartbeat. I think I'll turn my heartbeat off for a little while. Not such a good idea. So I really hope this was informative for you. I really wanted to lay out everything in the most easy to understand manner. What I really want to say, and this might sound silly, is that I just want you, the you on the other side of that screen, to stay high on life. All right. Bye now. Thanks for tuning in.